Karen Reed is free, but legal Vortex not yet closed. On Wednesday afternoon, June 18, 2025, Karen Reed walked down the steps of Norfolk County Superior Court as a free woman, acquitted of murder charges. She was greeted by a sea of cheering supporters and pink fireworks, with tears and "I love you" gestures as the crowd, along with Reed, celebrated a long-awaited legal conclusion, albeit accompanied by a conviction on a lesser charge. Karen Reed's murder acquittal verdict marks the end of one of the most controversial cases in Massachusetts legal history. After many hours of deliberation, the 12-member jury reached this irreversible decision, freeing Reed from the most serious charge, second-degree murder of her police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. The moment of the verdict announcement created an emotionally charged scene in the courtroom. Reed, who had sat silently throughout 2 lengthy trials, could not contain her emotions when hearing the words "not guilty" pronounced. Supporters in the courtroom broke into tears, while victim John O'Keefe's family sat in silence with pain and disappointment clearly visible on their faces. The jury's decision reflected deep skepticism about the prosecution's arguments. Throughout the trial, Reed's defense team successfully sowed doubt about the investigation's integrity. Pointing out flaws in evidence collection and questioning investigators' motives, they argued that Reed had become a scapegoat for a complex cover-up, and that those actually responsible for O'Keefe's death remained free. The acquittal was not only a legal victory, but also a strong statement about the importance of burden of proof in the American justice system. Prosecutors failed to convince the jury beyond reasonable doubt that Reed intentionally killed O'Keefe, despite presenting hours of evidence and witness testimony. However, this verdict did not completely exonerate Reed. The jury still found her guilty of driving under the influence, another serious charge, but with much lighter legal consequences. This shows the jury believed Reed had been drinking on the night of the incident and was driving, but they did not believe she intentionally used her car as a weapon to kill O'Keefe. The future looks bright for the woman who transformed from murder suspect to hero in her fans' eyes. But her legal battle is not completely over. After 2 criminal trials regarding her police officer boyfriend's death, Reed has become a celebrity figure to supporters who rejoiced at her acquittal this week. However, this former financial analyst, who spent over 3 years as a murder suspect, still faces a civil lawsuit over John O'Keefe's death. It's not entirely clear what will happen next for Reed. However, immediately after the verdict, she appeared to simply be enjoying the moment with family. Reed was seen having a celebration dinner with her defense team and family members at an upscale restaurant in Boston's Seaport District on Wednesday evening. "Happy. I'm happy. Thank you, Reed told reporters. "I fought for John O'Keefe, stronger than anyone." While prosecutors cannot bring criminal charges against her again for O'Keefe's death, Reed still has other legal issues to deal with. The O'Keefe family filed a wrongful death civil lawsuit in August 2024, alleging Reed intentionally engaged in reckless conduct leading to his death. The lawsuit also accuses 2 Canton bars, C.F. McCarthy's and Waterfall Bar and Grill, of negligently serving alcohol to an intoxicated person. Both bars deny these allegations. The O'Keefe family says Reed's public comments about what happened that night are a false narrative and caused them severe emotional distress. Reed has participated in interviews and a documentary series about the case, and has said her public comments are her testimony. The civil lawsuit isn't just about the circumstances leading to O'Keefe's death. His family also accuses Reed of causing emotional distress to O'Keefe's niece when she woke the girl to tell her something had happened to her uncle. The O'Keefe family is seeking $50,000 in damages, and the case could go to trial if no settlement is reached beforehand. The civil lawsuit was suspended while the criminal trial proceeded. While Reed was acquitted of murder, the jury found her guilty of driving under the influence. She was sentenced to 1 year of probation and must complete a driver alcohol education program, the standard sentence for first-time offenders. Reed's acquittal on O'Keefe's murder means no one has been charged with his death. David Yannetti, one of Reed's attorneys, reiterated Thursday that while his client was acquitted of O'Keefe's murder, there may still be more work to be done. They charged the wrong person, and they pursued an innocent woman for 3.5 years, and they failed because they charged the wrong person. But someone is still out there, he said. It's unclear whether the murder investigation into O'Keefe's death will continue. Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey told CNN after court the jury has spoken. The FBI had initiated a federal investigation into law enforcement after O'Keefe's death, but Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan announced in court during Reed's second trial that it had been closed without any charges filed. However, defense attorney Alan Jackson said in a Thursday interview that he still has questions about that investigation. "I've never heard of an investigating agency notifying targets that an investigation is closed. That never happens." Jackson said he thinks there's plenty of evidence for them to investigate, and I think they should. Massachusetts State Police have committed to taking new steps to improve their processes following O'Keefe's death and the subsequent investigation. The events of the past 3 years have challenged our department to carefully examine its actions and take concrete steps to provide enhanced investigative training, ensure appropriate oversight, and strengthen accountability. Legal battles are very expensive, and Reed has accumulated significant costs while maintaining her innocence. A report from Vanity Fair last year said Reed had paid $1.2 million leading up to and during her first trial, depleting savings and other contributions. That included costs for everything from paying bail to accommodations for her lawyers and for experts like private investigators. Before her second trial even began, Red had $5 million in deferred legal bills. As of Friday, people were still contributing to an online legal fund for Reed that has raised over $1 million. Speaking to supporters from the courthouse steps after Wednesday's verdict, Reed thanked them for their financial support. 3.5 years ago, the murder case against Reed divided the tight-knit town of Canton, Massachusetts, and nearby suburbs. Residents flooded town council meetings, demanding answers. Some accused local police of a cover-up to protect those at the party on Fairview Road. Others turned to social media forums to discuss the complexities of that fateful night, turning what began as a local murder case into a broader national sensation. Many residents in Canton and surrounding areas chose sides they either agreed with prosecutors saying Reed struck and killed O'Keefe with her car after a night out, or sided with the defense, who said she was framed. Allegations of corruption and law enforcement corrupting the investigation into O'Keefe's death were a unifying force for Red's supporters. At a town council meeting in August 2023, she acknowledged there was distrust toward the police department in Canton, but said it wasn't as widespread as portrayed. Town Select Board Chairman John McCourt acknowledged this week that the case had profoundly affected the community. He said the trial's outcome may bring relief to some and continue to raise questions for others. The Karen Reed case has become one of the most closely watched legal cases in recent years, not only because of its complexity, but also because of how it divided a community and drew national attention to issues of justice and transparency in the legal system.